want to get
I
her
don't
on
know,
the
that's
time
just
frame.
what I was gonna say.
I don't want to go to sleep.
I have 2 trials in the next 2
I'd be in the Atlantic Ocean.
I know, that's just what I was gonna
Because
say.
London's like 6 hours ahead of us.
Okay.
Oh. What are you gonna do that? What are you gonna do that?
Okay, I'll starting.
No big deal. I'm always in Novo.
There's no on Eastern
Okay, yeah.
Well, have you? Oh, wow.
I'm sure they're being like that.
Yeah, that's
really early in the morning.
Yeah.
It is now 5:30 p.m. time for the meeting of a Cook City
With
Council to
exceptions for
begin.
council members.
Yeah.
Just adding
All
people.
council members here.
Yeah.
With the exception of Councilman Calvin, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to excuse the absence of Councilman Calvin. Second.
Okay, all those in favor to excuse Councilman Calvin, vote yes, please nay.
All votes cast yea, no votes cast nay.
A copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted by the entrance to the council chambers and is available for public review. We will have the invocation by Jamie Mockray.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. We just thank you for the beautiful weather. We ask that you be here in the wisdom of the elected officials, Heavenly Father, that the discussion is meaningful and that it moves us forward. Jesus, we thank you that we're able to gather together and make decisions and give comments and just be part of this organization. We thank you. We give you praise and glory. Amen.
Amen.
We'll do the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have, I call this meeting to order. Do we have some announcements or recognitions?
We have one of each.
Okay.
So as far as an announcement, I just want to let the public know we have a planning commission meeting scheduled for next Monday. And that will be just kind of a continued schedule to go through our zoning regulations, our subdivision regulations, comprehensive plan questions, primarily right now focusing on the zoning regulations. But we're going to take little bites one at a time, so we're not trying to do everything all at once. Our goal is to get through the entire zoning regulation book by the end of this year, and then bringing this to the council for passage and ratification. So, but we'll do the first 3 chapters, I believe, at the next planning commission meeting. So, if anybody wants to get a good sleeping aid, come to the planning commission meeting next Monday night. And then for the announcement, I'll turn it over to Chief Hodgson.
Good evening.
Evening.
This is Jen Doucette. She's our E911 coordinator. And last week, NESCA, which is Nebraska Emergency Communication Services Association, had their annual conference, and she was an award recipient. So I'd just like to read a little paraphrase of the nomination for Jen. And hopefully my voice doesn't give out halfway through. I'd like to announce that Jennifer Doucette is the 2025 Laura Becker Memorial Award recipient. The Laura Becker Award is given to a person or persons whose hard work and dedication to NESCA are unparalleled. Mrs. Doucette's nomination mentioned her service to those dispatch centers in the South Central Panhandle 9/11 region, creating policy, coordinating multi-site CAD and RMS systems, and facilitating interagency communications. Her nomination outlined her willingness to help our communications center 24/7 by taking calls for service that range from plane crashes, wildfires, patching agencies together for interoperability, and training new staff. The nomination concludes by saying Mrs. Doucette's name has become the go-to person in the South Central Panhandle region, where it does not matter whether you're a vendor, another agency, or time of day. She is your source of support, knowledge, strength, and just centering when needed. Thanks, Jen, for your dedication.
Thank you. I recognize that this award is not merely a personal achievement, but it's also a reflection of the dedication and commitment of our entire dispatch team. Therefore, I dedicate this award as well to the McCook dispatchers that work for us. They work countless hours for this community and the first responders. They work 24/7 and they are prepared for the unexpected. Without the McCook dispatch team, this award would not be possible. The role of dispatcher is one of immense responsibility, demanding unwavering focus, exceptional communication skills, and the ever-evolving technology, the ability to remain calm and composed under extreme pressure. We are the vital link between those in need and the emergency services they require, the calm voice in the storm, and the steady hand guiding first responders to the scene. It's a role that not only requires technical proficiency, but also empathy, compassion, and a deep understanding for humankind. To be nominated for and subsequently receive this award, it signifies that our efforts to meet these expectations have been recognized and valued. It's a validation that the countless hours spent honing our skills, the dedication to continuous training, and the unwavering commitment to provide the best possible service to our community and the first responders we serve. I am grateful to the NESCA Selection Committee for their consideration and awarding this esteemed honor. This award serves as a powerful reminder to the importance of the work we do and the impact on the lives of others. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is to approve the proclamation designating May 11, 2025 through May 17, 2025 as National Police Officers Week, and May 15, 2025 as Police Officer Memorial Day, and authorize the mayor to sign.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? Would you like to say something, Chief?
Just one more little thing. The Peace Officer Memorial Day is set aside every year on May 15th to honor the men and women who have sacrificed their life for the pursuit of law enforcement. That week is set aside also to remember those who are still serving in law enforcement, those men and women who serve in law enforcement. Just some quick facts. There's a law enforcement memorial in Washington, D.C., where there are over 23,000 names on that memorial of fallen officers. And most recently in Nebraska, we honored the memory of Trooper Kyle McCasey and Officer Ross Bartlett of the Ceresco Police Department. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, ready? All those in favor of vote, say, opposed, nay.
All votes cast yea, no votes cast nay.
Next item on the agenda is a public hearing, a report from the Economic Development Plan Citizens Advisory Review Committee regarding a meeting held April 28, 2025.
I move to recess as a city council and convene a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comment on a report from the Economic Development Plan Citizens Advisory Review Committee regarding a meeting held on April 28th of 2025 with the city attorney to act as the hearing officer.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor vote yea, opposed nay. All votes cast yea, no votes cast nay.
There are 4 exhibits being offered for this hearing. Exhibit number 1 is a city manager's report, that's 1 page. Exhibit number 2 is the notice of public hearing, that's 1 page. Exhibit 3 is the agenda for Economic Development Plan Citizens Advisory Review Committee, dated April 28, 2025, that's 6 pages. Exhibit number 4 is the meeting minutes from the Economic Development Plan Citizens Advisory Review Committee, dated April 28, 2025, and that's 4 pages. I'll accept exhibits 1 through 4 into evidence, take comments from city staff before opening up public comment. Nick?
And we have Charlie McPherson and Sean Wolf here tonight to go through and present. We met just last Monday.
Yeah.
And time flies by, but it was just a review of the actions that have been taken from the prior quarters, meet quarterly. And so the Economic Citizens Advisory Committee, they actually serve as the conduit between the EDC board and the council. So they provide information to the council based upon the happenings that occur at the EDC as they administer our LB40 program. So with that, I'll turn the floor over to Charlie and John.
Go ahead and start off, jump in where you go.
Our group, committee met last Monday to go over the previous quarter's report, as Nate mentioned. So currently, we just came out of, and what we reviewed was Q2. Fiscal year is October through September, so Q2 is January through the end of March, and reviewed some of those activities. For the most part, it's been a relatively quiet one for us in the last couple of years when we've met on these. Reason B, kind of a good thing. We're kind of nearing the end or the completion of phase 1 with a lot of our development projects, and so those are kind of getting finished up and phased out. And so in the interim, we are continuing to have conversations about other development projects, continuing in the housing area. We're also working with the city and exploring a variety of options with the north of McCook Edition property around the sports complex, which is pretty exciting opportunity because it both contains commercial property and residential property, so mixed use of the two, which we haven't had much of here recently, to explore other retail attraction opportunities. So we're really diving kind of into that and running some numbers and looking at a variety of options, and hopefully someday down the road we'll be able to present something to everybody here and kind of have a game plan to see how that's all going to come together. So we're excited about that opportunity and that project, but again, we're still exploring lower price point projects for everybody, all individuals and families in the community. We continue to support the infant incentive programs that we continue to do. So when we met to discuss, we just kind of go over kind of the LD840 fund report. So at the end of the second quarter, the program total balance was $972,072.02. And from that, we gauge with, through our projects and discussions, if it's going to need to utilize some LD840 funds or some of the different loans and projects that we do with those funds. From the get-go, when we started having these conversations a couple years ago, we've continued to earmark bits and pieces for the development projects we have been working on, just in case there's any overages or to assist us in any potential shortfalls while we're working through some of those things. So on the reserved funds, we continue to have some North Point and Business Park funds that we're reserving aside, setting aside in case those are needed. And then, as I mentioned, we continue to support the infant incentive programs here in town with the early child care providers. And then the EDC, we made a contribution to the early childhood section portion of the YMCA project. We wanted to be able to support that because that is one of our initiatives that we support internally. So with those reserve funds, that left an available balance of $767,816.02. And then lastly, what we discuss in those meetings are the different loans that have been utilized with the LB 840 funds. We provide that loan balance docket every time we submit our reports, and to say everybody's paid up to date and current with their loan payments, and we're good there. Any questions? Go ahead.
An update on the East 11th Street, the property. Have you made any progress on it?
Yeah, so I mean, not since, really the last month or two. We're just exploring. We're still working with some potential developers and builders on just what our options may be over there. Nice thing about it, when we first looked at some of the housing projects, we had to kind of poke and prod just to get people to look at these things. And now we have people asking us to take a look at stuff. And so we have options, and that's kind of what we're looking through and going through right now. What's going to be the best quality product for the most bang for our buck. So it's still moving forwards. Everything's still on track. It's just kind of now starting to dive into the numbers on what something like that may cost. So.
And then what we have discussed here the last couple of weeks, we actually had a meeting with Craig Bennett from Miller & Associates about implementing a new flight substandard study area in that vicinity. And also trying to capture some additional properties in that area. So Amanda and I had that conversation. Tara was there as well too. And I think that we'll be getting an estimate back from Craig Bennett here shortly. Once we get that, we're going to talk about how we split that between the city of McCook and the EDC. But the estimate probably is going to come back fairly nominal. I don't think it's going to be a huge number. I'm trying to remember what the last cost estimate was when we did the industrial park project, flight substandard study. But we will be bringing that back to you, which will give us the ability to use tax increment financing, not just on the East 11th Street project, but we want to stretch it further east over to the airport road. So like the Cedar Inn, the Nyman property, some of those lots in that area that may need some attention, we'd like to go ahead and draw that in as well.
Good. Okay, thank you.
And assuming the hospital is able to move forward with our construction project, we may have a lot of fill dirt that could potentially go there to help bring some of that up to grade where it sits so low there as it leads up to Kelly Creek. So
We might have some too.
What's that?
Yeah.
We might have a little bit.
Red dirt?
Oh, wait a second. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm committing things.
well, we know where the extra dirt job needs to go. Gotta bring that up to grade a little bit.
We can put dirt for sale?
Hey, yeah. It's like a bank set.
Well, if you do have extra there, thinking out that East 11th property, that's a good place for it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Charlie, Sean? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I recommend we reconvene.
I move to adjourn the public hearing and reconvene as the city council.
Thanks, guys.
Second.
Any discussion from the council? All those in favor, vote yea. Opposed, nay.
4 votes cast yea, no votes cast nay.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is to accept the minutes of the February 10th, 2025 Economic Development Citizens Plan Advisory Review Committee meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Okay.
All those in favor vote yea, opposed nay.
Four votes cast yea, no votes cast nay.
The next item is the consent agenda. It's approved on one motion. Any item listed on the consent agenda may, by request of any single council member or public in attendance, be considered as a separate item under the regular agenda. Council,
I have nothing, Your Honor.
staff, public. Okay. We have a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda from 4A through I.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor vote yea, opposed nay.
Four votes cast yea, no votes cast nay.
Okay, next item is update on regarding the sports complex project.
Thanks. I'll do a quick update, and then there's a specific discussion item that we can touch on as well too. Since our last council meeting on April 21st, at that time, the council approved signing the Phase A construction contract with Mammoth. It was signed. Following the signature, Mammoth commenced the Mass X portion of the project. So if anybody's had a chance to take a look and see what's going on up there over the course of the past 2 weeks, they're really making some progress. And that was the reason for the comment regarding the dirt. There's a lot of dirt that's over there on the northeast side of that tractor land. So next, the final plat was approved at the 21st council meeting. We're waiting on the Mylar to get sent back to us, and then we're going to record that. Once it's recorded, then that final plat will become official. April 25th, we met with Chris Miller and David Blau, who's present. We discussed the infrastructure involved in the sports complex project, but not just the sports complex portion of it. We also talked about the additional areas that will have commercial and residential uses. Due to the elevation changes at the Walters First Edition property, especially on the southwest side of where the sports complex is going to be, Chris proposed that we extend sewer north to U Street, so it'd almost be like a horseshoe turned on its left side. So you would have sewer that would come on S, but we wouldn't extend it all the way under the highway, because we want to try to avoid some of the costs associated with that large elevation change. So we'd actually go ahead and bring sewer underneath U Street, under the highway on the north side. The benefit of this will be that it'll allow us to go ahead and extend sewer to all the single family residential. And we should be able to do so at about the same cost as it was going to cost us to go ahead and bring the sewer underneath S Street. So it actually is a win for us, I think, going this direction. And then Tara, Kyle, and I have been working on finalizing a draft of the Doherty Foundation grant. We worked on that this past Monday. We sent a copy over to Jessica Bordner. We met with Jessica then on April 30th to finalize a rough draft. So we've gotten through everything. I think it's like 25 pages, 30 pages, something like that. So there's been a lot of work done on that, but we're making some progress, so that's good. We met with Mammoth's creative team this past week, I think it was on April 30th, to discuss sponsorships, fundraising, brochures. We've got some good products that will be shared with the public here in due time. Things are moving forward on that end. We also had a meeting with Mammoth last Thursday. We had an opportunity to kind of discuss where we were at with Package A. Also, Package B will be the actual horizontal build out. We're going to be bringing this back to the council fairly shortly. They're going to try to get that contract over to me on May 13th so I can share it with Nate, and then we can go through, take a look at it together. I think the language is going to be somewhat similar. That package obviously is going to be a more expensive package, but the language itself, I think, is pretty much the same as what you would have seen with the Package A contract here this last council meeting. We talked about the creative team's marketing, what they're doing. I think we're supposed to be getting a visual back. I think that we shared with
a link to the
video, and so we should be getting that back here shortly. The other thing that we really focused on was looking at the concession stand and associated building that will serve as the package C build out item. We had a good meeting. Kyle, I think, Tara, were you in there for that one? And then Barry Mooney came in and sat in, and so have a pretty good idea of what this may look like. We'll take the actual building to the sports complex committee so they can take a look at it as well too, and then bring their thoughts back to us and to the council members. But I think they hit on pretty much everything. I was very impressed with their first attempt. So there weren't a lot of changes to it that we saw. And then I guess finally we had a good conversation with Paul Grieger from D.A. Davidson this morning. We're still on track for a ban issuance here in July. And then August will be the date that we actually receive the funds. That, as we've discussed in the past, when Paul was here, the ban issuance will be in the realm of about $15 million, which will be supported by the sales tax bond. And there's some more work that we need to do on our end as far as additional fundraising. We also know there are grant opportunities that are out there, but we're going to continue to work on that. We're in good shape. So, and then it will be supported by the general fund as a backstop. So if things go awry, which I don't think it will happen, but if we had to utilize that, we could. I think we're going to have the funding there to go ahead and back that up. So aside from that, I can't think of anything else that we've done over the course.
We met with SFC today.
Oh, I'll let you.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
I'm trying to remember what we did with SFC.
SFC is the company that's doing the feasibility study, so we just had a few questions for them. We forwarded some information to them today, and they're gonna take another look at it and get us probably a finished product sometime next week.
But all in all, we're sitting in really good shape. We're very, very excited overall. So
That's exciting. Thank you.
Do we need to bring back that donation policy we talked about?
we will. We'll bring that back
Okay.
before
We need-
move too far on things. But yeah, that we're still working on it.
Okay.
We've just been so busy with everything else.
Understand.
We finalized it. And then Jared, I'll kind of let you take the lead on the discussion
Okay.
regarding the use of the facility.
Yeah, I've had a few people reach out on just how our current facilities are gonna be utilized. Felon Field, JC Sports Complex, and then how the practice fields are gonna sort of work with this new complex. And I kind of gave them a rundown, and Jeff actually said that you reached out to him, so that's great. But there's not just Jeff, there's a few other people too. So I didn't know if we could kind of go over, I think the public don't really know how we're moving forward with that, especially the JC complex. So I didn't know if there's maybe, we can just have some open conversation about how that's gonna function. I don't think we know exactly how it's gonna go, but, kind of give 1,000-foot overview of like, this is kind of how we see it. And so I kind of talked to Jeff about that a little bit, but I was like, I don't want to speak out of turn, if there's something that you guys have talked about. So I didn't know if there's something, you guys wanted to kind of comment on that.
Well, I think the new facility will actually meet all of our needs. We haven't had a place to practice in the past, so it's just going to be a matter of scheduling. Our plan is to, utilize that for all of the different purposes that you could utilize a sports complex for. The fact that it's artificial turf is going to allow for us to do some things that we couldn't do with our prior game used fields. So, Kyle,
we won't have to chalk them. We won't have to do, all the other maintenance that goes into that. I talked about that. The durability of the turf, the grass, the Legion field, as I call it. That didn't have a break. Maybe a couple weeks break.
Yeah,
It's not long.
it was like
During
November
Christmas break, yeah.
November to January.
So that really didn't give the grass the ability to come back. We have fertilizer costs and all that other thing, maintenance that goes into that with you know, the new fields, we won't have that. And these are just some of the things I talked about. When I was like, you know, with soccer, you know, we have kids, you know, practicing soccer all over different places, which they can still do that, but at the same time, we have this new facility that will have phase one have the soccer field, and then also be able to utilize that pretty much, you know, 365 days a year. So I've even seen on Mammoth's LinkedIn that they clear snow off. You know, they had 10 inches of snow on one field in Kansas, I think, and they played the next day. So there's those abilities that I think the public, you know, probably aren't quite aware of. You know, the ability that turf has, the advantages that turf has over just regular grass fields. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be amazing having these fields, and then, you know, the ability to have tournaments. And we talked a lot about the sports feasibility, and the 12 and under is kind of the bread and butter at that age group. You know, the Legion probably don't have the ability to bring as many in here, but softball and 12 and under tournaments are going to be huge for this. And so having that ability to have tournaments every week, I see that facility filled up all, you know, summer as well as spring and fall. So yeah, I think it gives us a lot better ability throughout the year to utilize it than what we currently have. And we're still going to be utilizing felling.
Right.
But that again is a grass field, and it's a little bit harder to maintain in that aspect. So
we have discussed the possibility of even opening that up to practice certain times of the year. So
yeah, I just wanted to make those comments. I've had a few people reach out, so I'm sure the people that haven't voiced their opinions are out there too. That, you know, but yeah, I think the committee, you know, talked through these things with Mammoth, and that's how we came up with the design that we came up with.
Yeah. So I was telling these guys, well, I didn't realize how bad it was until you have a kid that gets into it. Women started t-ball, and all of her teams, I sat and watched them practice on a paved surface because there was no place to go in town. That just doesn't seem right. They're trying to enjoy a sport, introducing it to them, and they're grabbing ground balls on hard concrete. So
We were kind of joking with the Doherty Foundation grant application because we were so grateful to have Valmont, but when Valmont came in, there were practice fields down there. So we think that we'd be a very good fit for the Doherty Foundation because we lost our practice fields at that time. So, but then we went over to the property on the southwest side of town, and it was leased property. And that was always kind of our concern with leased property because it's subject to, you know, whatever is going on with the landlord. Well, the landlord decided to go a different direction, which was fine. But that meant that we didn't have any practice fields. And so it's been very difficult, I know, for all the teams, coaches, whatnot, trying to find places to practice. This is going to alleviate that concern. Kyle and I have spent I don't know how many times, how much, numerous hours, you know, looking around for places to have practice. And we've had a lot of people that have stepped up and said, we'd be happy to go ahead and give you some space. But the problem is, there's a lot of money and work that goes into it. A lot of those spots may not have been the perfect locations. And we were fortunate to have Chris donate his property, not donate his property, but allow us to use his property for practices. But again, you know, that's not a perfect scenario either. And so, especially when, you know, that's going to be land that he's going to want to develop at some point in time. And so, to have our own property, to have recreational, commercial, and residential, it's something that we've never had here in McCook, and we're finally going to have it. So it's going to be fantastic for all the teams. You know, it's one of the things that we've kind of lost sight on. We haven't lost sight on it, but sometimes we don't talk about it as much as our youth. But the primary purpose for this project is to advance the recreational opportunities for our youth, for families, not just here in McCook, but also in southwest Nebraska. That really was the impetus for this project to begin with. And so they are going to have facilities that are state of the art, that are second to none. Our kids are gonna be playing on the same kind of facilities that the Omaha kids are playing on, the Lincoln kids, the Denver kids. Our kids are going to get the same thing, which is exciting.
It is exciting, and I've had a lot of parents say they'll be so glad when they don't have to drive down to Lincoln and Omaha to play.
Yeah, we'll bring those guys our direction.
Yeah, that's what we're bringing them our direction, yeah.
They'll learn fast. They will learn quickly.
Okay, anything else? Okay, being no further discussion tonight, Oh, I thought that was our comments. Okay, any council comments? Okay, good. All right. Being there are no further business to come before the council, I declare the meeting adjourned at 6:04 p.m.
First game's tomorrow night, Sunday.
Is it?
Yeah.
It'll be fun. I'll really do it. Man, I tell you